Okay, so I have to add this additional tutorial. This is a addition or a revision. So the topic is discussing frame rate. So what is frame rate? I remember when I was in school, it was confusing. Frame rate, 24 frames per second, 30 frames per second, 60 frames per second. If you look on YouTube, there's under the gearbox, there's sometimes options, 30 frames, 60 frames, blah blah blah. So I guess the analogy is, when you've seen old Disney films, old Disney animations, and you see them drawing each animation page by page. You could think of each page as a frame. It literally is, but so when they say 24 frames, basically it means 24 pages per second. So then there's options for say 30 frames per second. That's gonna be 30 pages per second that the computer system is running through. For us, we're gonna be doing 30 frames, or my animation was in 30 frames. The reason why I chose 30 frames is one part is just preference. The second part is a lot of times I like to blend video footage with the 3D animation to make it more dynamic, to integrate it together for motion graphics. So, and with that in mind, a lot of times the video is shot in 30 frames. Most of the time it's shot in 30 frames, the video. Say for example, YouTube and online. Majority of the time is 30 frames, arguably. But other times things are shot at 24 frames. They say that is for cinematic purposes, for movies and stuff, that our eyes are so used to it. And it's definitely true. And also for animation, specifically character animation is shot at, or runs at 24 frames per second. When I do character animation, I only do 24 frames per second because it's less work. It's less work, and it's just, the look is different. It just feels different visually. But for motion graphics animation, I choose 30. Again, because I like to integrate the video with the animation, and to make things simpler, it's 30 frames. So that's pretty much that. So I had set Maya right now to the default settings. So this is probably what's gonna show on your computer. Hopefully you haven't animated yet. If you did, then sorry, but you're gonna get into some problems. Yeah. Well, I'll show you how to fix it. Anyway, so here's my animation, right? Remember? But I had running at 30 frames per second. If I set it to here, it won't matter. It's still gonna look crazy. So let me hit play. Let me just double click in here and hit play. And you see how it's so fast and it's glitchy. It doesn't look right. Even though over here I had set to 30 frames per second. So this is the first main thing I want to talk about. Is that over here where it says 30 frames per second, you know how you have a drop down list, it doesn't matter. You'd think it would work because it That's what it says. But the way Maya is set up, and maybe other softwares too, it doesn't matter. The reason why is that you can set it, but on the timeline, when it's playing through, is playing at real time. I can't really explain what real time means. You know, it sounds right, real time, you know, that sounds right, real time. You know, in my mind, but it's not. What I have to do is go in here, this little gear box, gear thing, and this person running, click on that. This is your preferences. Your preferences is your everything important in Maya, behind the scenes, where you can set it a certain way. And when you click down there, it will automatically take you down here to the time slider, which is this guy. And you'd think it's maybe an animation, you know, but it's not. I used to always go over here, but it's not, you know. It's here, time slider. Again, when you click that, it takes you here automatically. So first thing, we have to set this to 30. Okay. Well, before I think it was at what, 24? Was it? Okay, whatever. Let me just go restore default settings. Okay. So yeah, default on your computer it should be 24, and down here under playback it should be play every frame. Alright, so like I said, I'm gonna make it 30. Okay, and the next part is it has to be 30 frames per second, not play every frame. Then it will work properly and hit save. I don't know why it seems so redundant and just kind of stupid. But now if I hit play, now it plays normal. And if I go back, it plays normal. See? Okay. So that's that. Let me review something else too. You see how it's playing through all the way? In the other tutorials in animation, I probably explained it, but just in case, let me go over it one more time. So it stops at around 24, 25. But let's set it to 30. So it ends at 30 instead of 200. Right now it's ending at, if I pull this, if I grab this little thing and I pull it, our timeline is set for 250 frames. That's too many frames. So let me type in 30 over here. Now it's only 30 frames. Okay, just in case, if I didn't go over it, or if if you forgot, then this one here is your beginning, and then hit play, boom, and it cycles through. Other shortcut, if I hold down Alt and V as in Victor, that's your play button. If you press it again, it stops it there. If you press it again, it continues playing. For Max, it should be, what is it, Option? It's the one that in place of where the Alt button should be on the Mac keyboard. Okay, so that's pretty much the end of this tutorial.